Hey guys, David here and welcome to the FitPro Daily. This week is all about getting started in 2022. But first, before we do dive into really getting started in 22, I wanted to give you an insight, give you an overview into how one PT we know who've been working with closely has been able to jump into PTing during the middle of the pandemic and come out the other side completely thriving. This week's guest interview is Sam Perry. But before we do dive into this week's guest interview, if you haven't already joined us on our free Facebook group, press pause, head over to Facebook, search for FitPro Lead Gen with Dave, request to join and get access to even more guides, insights, guest interviews, and so much more. Anyway, let's dive into this week's guest interview. Good afternoon and welcome to the FitPro Daily. Today we have a guest interview that was actually recommended by one of the team here at FitPro. So the other month when we were looking for guest speakers, I was like, oh, who should we get on? And Willa was like, we should get Sam on, you should definitely get Sam on. So a couple of weeks later, Sam is here. And if everyone's wondering why I'm kind of a little bit excited about this, why Willa wanted to get Sam on, as the title might say, Sam literally set this up kind of during the pandemic. And now you're kind of at a point where you've even stopped taking on PTs because you're that busy. So big introduction for you there, Sam. No
I know, wow, there's big expectations there.
So how is the weather in sunny Leeds? Because I can see it looks quite bright through that window.
It is actually lovely today. Yeah, about 8 degrees, so we can't complain.
8 degrees. Ooh, yeah, nice and warm that.
No, skinny weather.
Cool. Okay, so it must be a funny time for you now with everything that's kind of going on. It's almost like deja vu of when you got started, kind of what might happen in the next couple of weeks. So how does now compare to when you initially got started, you reckon?
Oh gosh, it's just, a million times better than when I got started, because when I started, I was brand new to all this as well. It's literally a year since I started up. But now I've got my client base and I know what to do now. So if it does happen, we've already spoken about it, I just get straight online. So worst case scenario, I mean, yeah, my in-person would obviously plummet, but no, I'm confident that we can. I was busier on my online when it was the pandemic, to be honest, which is
Okay, cool. So because you've been in there a year now and you've kind of gone from the beginning all to where you are now, kind of almost like fully booked, let's kind of start that journey back. So for people who are kind of brand new to the industry, thinking of getting into the industry, or maybe they're just starting out, we can kind of walk them through your journey. So just quickly, what did you do pre-FitPro? What was your life before you became a FitPro?
Well, I worked for 19 years for a payroll company. So I was at a desk job, office-based, good, decent wage, good company. But yeah, so that's what I did before.
So what was it that kind of made you say, you know what, Sam, let's just jump ship and change completely?
Well, to be fair, the pandemic, obviously
really?
everything started going downhill with work, and I got furloughed on full pay, which you can't grumble about. But just made me realise being at home, I'm a mum to 2 boys as well, so life's busy, and it just made me realise how important that was. And I just didn't want to do that anymore. So yeah, I thought, right, what shall I do? So I trained to be a PT, as you do. So that was all in furlough.
So you trained to be a PT. Now it's 2013 when I qualified. What feels like a very long time ago now. What's it like finding a PT course these days? How easy is it? You just jump online, or what was it kind of all like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when the pandemic started, there were so many offers going about, and I've always loved my fitness and been into it, and then I decided, and it was an offer I'd seen online, so it was all done online. Was kind of tricky, I won't lie, because it's difficult doing distance learning, especially when you're brand new to it, really. So, but I managed it all right. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, really.
So what was the whole process then? Did you have to kind of like do some recordings and do online work, or did you have to go to any gyms or anything, or how did it kind of work?
Yeah, well, what I did while we were in lockdown, I managed to get all the online stuff done. So, I got all the coursework done. And then once everything opened up, I had to do video recordings for my exams, and then got qualified soon after we got opened up, really.
Okay. So you got qualified. Was it a bit scary kind of not having work with anyone face to face, diving into straight into working with the general public? Or did the course kind of give you some insight of what to expect, how to kind of get clients, how to kind of make sure you look after clients and so on?
No, not really at all. And yeah, the answer to your first question was it was really scary because I've always been a pretty confident person, but it was just something absolutely out of the box for me. So yeah, I can remember I'm nervous I was when I first started up, but yeah, the course doesn't really help you with that side because you're not seeing anyone to deal with anything like that. So it's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
on
yeah.
your own, really.
So do you think just for people maybe who are watching this further down the line, maybe next year or whenever, kind of when the lockdown is gone, would you kind of recommend a face-to-face kind of experience with a lot more coaching compared to an almost online approach would give
Yeah.
you a better understanding?
100%. Yeah. I mean, as much as this course taught you what to do on paper, how to put things together, you don't have that personality of how to be with people, really. So, yeah, 100%, I would say that. I mean, it was all right. I qualified, but I think you get more from in person, to be perfectly
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. Okay. So the certificate arrived in the post. You've
Yeah.
passed. You're like celebrating.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Where did you start? What was kind of like the first thing you did then?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I didn't even start with personal training. I always knew as a PT I didn't want to just do PT. So I
Mm.
then qualified as I've always loved my HIIT classes. I qualified as a Strong Nation instructor. So I did that training as well at the start of that. So what I actually started with was Strong Nation classes rather than the PT. It took me about 4 months to pluck up the courage to start PT. But I got my clients through my classes and then they filtered to the PT, you see.
Yeah, so you kind of did the classes stuff before you actually qualified as the PT itself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because when I qualified, in fact, no, we were in lockdown, so just started doing online classes, and that's when it sort of drip fed into. And then once we were open, started doing PT. Then
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you've qualified, you've got these qualifications and everything like that. How is it you started to find clients? How did you start telling people about what it is you actually do?
I'll be honest. Nearly all my business is done through Facebook. I've done a lot of different things in the past, and I'm part of a lot of different groups. So I have got quite a big following on Facebook. And it was all word of mouth. So from friends to friends of friends. And then my beginners challenges started, and it's just drip fed and word of mouth and, recommendations, really.
Yeah, so it's kind of like referrals and speaking within your network and telling people. Did you do any paid advertising when you initially got started then?
I did, yeah. Well, obviously, I found you guys quite early on. I did a little bit of paid advertising, but never really got much from it. But I probably wasn't doing it right. And I'm not very technical. So no, it's all kind of like word of mouth and people on Facebook because I keep posting on my page, and it's just been consistent, really, and drip
Yeah,
feed.
yeah, yeah. And you reckon the consistency part is one of the big things that really makes a significant difference then?
100%, yeah. Because I've got ladies that, in fact, some of the ladies that are on my next beginners challenge starting in January have been watching me for months. They've been watching and watching and watching, and now they've plucked up the courage to take the plunge, really.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you've mentioned the beginners challenge a few times. What is that then?
So yeah, that's one of the other things I started. So alongside my PT, I thought, right, what can I do? And it's an online beginners challenge. So it's an 8-week challenge. And it's absolute beginners. So I have a private Facebook group, it's ladies only, so ladies in there. I've had some amazing results from it. So it's kind of there into me, if you see what I mean, so they come in and a lot of them start off on that. So, and I've still got most of them women now a year later. So
Nice.
yeah,
Okay.
they carried on.
So then we go from posting on Facebook to getting loads of inquiries to getting people ready to buy your starter course and all this type of things. How would you then find the ways to take payments? How is it you take payments?
Just to my business bank account, really. So I don't have anything automated online. So I just give them my bank details and they pay into there. So yeah, I do it
Yeah,
that way.
yeah. And how did you start to come up with the prices and kind of like, did you see what it was about or did you kind of make them up? Or?
Yeah, I just really looked around, looked to see what other people were, and then just plucked a price out of the air, to be honest. It's really difficult to know how to price yourself, really, especially when you're new to it all.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go back to that founder program then. How did you kind of decide what to put within the program then? Did you kind of just see what others were doing again, or is it kind of like you updating it every time you do a new one?
Yeah, no, I've kept it sort of, apart from a few tweaks, it is the same process from my first one. So yeah, look, see what other people were doing. I'm part of SJ and Nutrition as well, so I got them involved in it. And just sort of it improved as we were going along, but I just picked out what I wanted to do really, and thought what I thought would work, and it did work quite well. So yeah, not bad.
Nice. Yeah. So you say you're now full with your PT clients. You've got your online clients. You've got everything else going as well. What is kind of like the future moving into 2022 for yourself then?
Well, I mean, I'm looking now at I want to do pre and postnatal, so I want to sort of add that other string to my bow. Also, because most of the people, I mean, are my age or older, are kind of all menopausal women, so it's like I want to go down that route as well, things to help them. So, but other than that, just kind of ticking along as I am doing, really. Business is good, and I am only me, and I wouldn't want to get any bigger than what I can manage with, really.
And that was kind of be the next question. Would you ever take anybody on to go from a one-woman band to a Samantha Perry dominating leads kind of setup?
Works. Do you know? I don't know. And me and my ladies joke about this, to be honest, because they buy into me for me, really. And they like me, they like my personality, and they like my classes. And they've all said, "Oh, we wouldn't like to go to anybody else." So I don't know. Who knows what the future holds? But I've not got any dreams of an empire, to be honest. As long as I'm happy, my ladies are happy. That's all that matters, really.
Yeah. Okay. So the final couple of things then for me then, if somebody is just getting started within the fitness industry, what kind of things would you say to them to really consider to really hit the ground running and like you say, get full within a year like you are?
Yeah, you've just got to be different. The world is saturated with fitness people. There's a million and one. You can get it online. You've got to have a personality. You've got to let people buy into you, really. People buy into you. Not anybody can form a fitness program. No disrespect to anybody out there, but you you just got to have fun. And I think that's what like be enthusiastic, have fun. Just be yourself, really. Just be a bit different.
And if you could say maybe one thing to Sam 12 months ago that now, what would it have kind of been?
Keep the faith, because you can do it. You've got the confidence to do it. Whereas at first I'm like, oh, I can't do this. But then you look back and you think, you could do it really. So yeah, just keep going.
Nice. Sam, I appreciate you coming on today. I'm guessing anybody that is watching this who are kind of getting started in the industry, maybe kind of not really moving anywhere, really struggling and stuff, you've kind of give them some good insights, some good just motivation in general to kind of spur them on to keep them moving. So if anybody is watching who maybe kind of just wanted to have a quick chat because maybe they were struggling or they just like a little bit more motivated by what it is you've been able to do, how could people potentially reach out and just say hi?
Just anyway. I mean, obviously in the group, I'm happy to give anyone any advice. Yeah, just drop me a message. Happy to answer.
Sam, the fitness guru now, yeah. Sam, I appreciate you coming on today. Thank you for your time. And if anybody is watching that wants to reach out to Sam, feel free to drop Sam a message and just ask her a few questions because she was kind enough to come on. Some questions she'd be kind enough to answer some questions as well. So Sam, thanks again for coming on. And
brilliant.
I'll speak to you soon.
No problem, Dave. Speak to you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So that was Sam Perry giving us an insight into how she got started in the fitness industry during the pandemic and how she's been able to really generate leads, really get her business off the ground and succeed to a point where she's really moving into 2022 in a really good position. As usual, if you've got any comments, any questions or anything else you'd like to see on the Fit Pro Daily Show, simply reach out or comment below and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Cheers.